Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm continuing on with my makeup declutter, and if I don't start breaking up my eyeshadow palettes into sections, we'll be here all day. So this is what I have for you today. They are from 3 pans to 5 pans. That's it. 3, 4, and 5 pan palettes right here. Let's see how many there are. I have 22 of these really tiny palettes here. And I'm gonna try and go through this quickly because I don't want to make this longer than it needs to be. First one I have to show you is this little teeny tiny 3-pan palette from the Balm. This is their Smoke Balm. I don't think they still make this. I don't think they've made it for a while. I love this palette. I have used it so much. This is one of my most used palettes. I have so much, it doesn't really look like it's used, but the fact that you can see like there's makeup around the edges of the, cardboard packaging shows that I really have been in here a lot. You'll see some pretty tidy palettes, and those are the palettes I really haven't reached for, but I have reached for this. I feel like I've had it for too long, and I have these shades in other places. I can probably let this go. It's my only 3-pan palette. From there, we're down to 4-pan eyeshadows. I have 3 of the bite-sized shadows from Elf. I'll tell you, I don't use this one. I know a lot of people really like the hot jalapeno. I just don't reach for it, so I can easily put that to the side. The one that I like the most is this one here. Is this the pumpkin pie? Oh, yes, so good. This one is staying. I think what's really miraculous about this are the metallics in here. This is a $3 drugstore eyeshadow. Everything is great. If you like warm neutrals, you would love this palette. Definitely hanging on to this. This is the rose water one. I don't reach for it that often. I don't know why. I think the reason I don't reach for it is this darkest shade here. I think I'm gonna hang on to this for now. I love having budget, beautiful eyeshadows, and those definitely fall in. The quality is really good. And to me, it's not just good quality for the price. I think it's overall good quality. I don't get a lot of successful looks with this, but I'm not very creative, and this kind of goldy yellow here kind of throws me for a loop. These are 2 of my favorite palettes. I have reached for these so much in the last year. They came out last holiday season. These are the Peche palettes from Viseart. This is the Lilas. This is the Praline, and I love. And to me, what really makes these palettes special, you get 4 shades, but look at these metallics. If you like a shimmery, glimmery, gorgeous eye, these last all day. The mattes blend to utter perfection. I'm keeping both of these. I remember getting this because Emily Noel would not stop talking about it. Do you remember when Walking on Eggshells was 3 shades in a palette? I used to have that palette, and then I got it when they reformulated a long time ago, because now they have this in a new 5-pan palette that looks like this. I didn't pick up the Walking on Eggshells. I haven't used this in forever. It's a really beautiful, beautiful palette, but I have other shades that work for me, and I'm gonna let this one go. This is a limited edition Wet n Wild from a couple years back. This is Bed of Roses. Oh, wow. I just haven't reached these, but don't these kind of remind you of, have you seen the new retro palette from Natasha Denona? I feel like these are definitely, those shades. I'm not keeping this, but it was fun when I was wearing it. So I have this 4-pan eyeshadow palette from Revlon. I don't reach for it a lot, but when I do, it's especially for this shade here. It's a duochrome. It's so pretty. I feel like the rest of these are nice. This one is super intense and pretty, but I don't frequently wear shades like this. I feel like this kind of beige shade here sometimes disappears. It's very close to my skin tone. I'm gonna hang on to this because I love this shade right here, but I don't know that I would keep it if it wasn't for that shade. So I have this quad from Makeup Geek. It's one of their pre-made quads. I forget what it's called. I'll have to plop it up on the screen for you, but it has one of their foiled shades in here. It's so gorgeous. And the rest of their mattes are really pretty. I just haven't reached for it in a long time. I don't know, maybe it's because I forget that I have it. I'm gonna put this in a I'm not sure pile and reevaluate later. I have 2 quads from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the first one that I ever got. This is the one that's called the Golden Goddess. I feel like it's been a while since I played with these. This is one of those palettes that I want to hang on to because I feel like even though they all have a little bit of sparkle, it wears beautifully on the eye. And I guess when I say that, I mean it makes my eyelids that are starting to get a little bit more textured, a little bit more crepey. It sits beautifully on a more mature eyelid. This topper shade is super pretty when it's sheared out. It's very eye-catching. I feel like I'm kind of torn because part of me feels like, am I keeping it because I paid, what is it, $53 for it? 50 whatever dollars for it? Or am I keeping it because it's actually good and I don't know? This is the other one I have. I use this one more. So this is the Bella Sofia. I really like this one. And I feel like I need to keep smaller palettes like this out, easy to access, or I'm never gonna remember I have them. I think I might be able to let this go. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna keep those, get rid of the other. This is a quad I picked up from Pat McGrath. This is the Venus in Fleur quad. This came out with the Divine Blush collection, and I love this. I especially am really anxious to start using it now that I have the Intensifies Artistry wand, because this won't end up, do you see how there's sparkle all over the pan? I used to get that fallout all over my eyes from this shade until I got the Artistry wand, and that has made me play with this more. I'm keeping this. I don't even know why it's still in, it's like a little snuggie. This is Tom Ford's Extreme Eye Color Quad in the shade Badass. This I think was a holiday kind of release. It looks like this. I don't like it. I can't get it to work for me. This is the shade, the only shade that I really, really love. It's really pretty, but I don't want to keep an entire quad for one shade. And I feel like the rest of these kind of darker, you know, charcoaly gray shades end up looking just as charcoaly gray as this is, which is more like the maroon. I don't know. They look pretty here, but when you start blending them out, you can't really tell the difference. You know, the maroon is here and then we have the grays. They look so similar. I got this in a Beautylish Lucky Bag. I'm glad I didn't pay for it. I'm not keeping it. Into 5-pan palettes, I happened to pick up one of these Wet n Wild color icons. This is Camouflaunt. I did not know that this is a pressed glitter. I feel like it was okay. It wasn't spectacular. I was hoping that the metallics would be a little bit more metallic. They're a little dusty. I didn't love this, and it didn't inspire me to get more from Wet n Wild. I used to really love the Wet n Wild formula. I don't like that, so that's going. I've had this forever, so long that it's even in the old packaging. This is the Natasha Denona Eyeshadow Palette 5, meaning there's 5 shades, and this is the variation 02. This taupe shade right here is the reason I'm absolutely in love with this. The rest of these are gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. There's 4 metallics and 1 matte. Love, love. This is what made me fall in love with Natasha Denona. So glad I have it. I've had this forever. This is a 5-pan palette from Urban Decay. It was a collab with Kristen Leanne. I love it. It's completely matte. I've had it for so long. I feel like I have these shades in other places. These were the perfect shades for me to get a warm, neutral look and not be too deep or too golden or too orange. The peachy tones were nice. The light browns were beautiful. This really almost bone shade is perfect, and I got enough depth from this. I don't think I'm going to hang on to it, but I use this so much. This and the one from the Balm, like the little tiny guy, these are my 2 favorite neutral palettes for the longest time. Last thing I have for you in my 5-pan palettes are these guys from ColourPop. Okay, I have some feelings. I don't like that 2 of these actually have pressed glitters in them. Now, I knew they were pressed glitters when I bought them, but I love the way pressed glitter looks. I mean, it's so pretty, but when they fall out and they land in your eye, it's not pretty. I really wanted to like these. I feel like these 2 here, this is Lyric and this is Amour. I feel like this kind of deeper aubergine purple shade was really patchy and I didn't like it. I can let this one go. And I felt like I have palettes that look like this, I don't have to keep this one from ColourPop. I remember being so excited they were coming up with smaller palettes, and they've continued to do like quads. This was their first like super small palette. I think the smallest palettes they had before they launched these 5-pan were their 9-pan. And I love that they were going smaller, and they've continued to do that with quads and stuff. I just don't know that I have to have these in my collection. They're affordable, they're not bad. They just don't inspire me. This one here is pretty and warm, but I would much rather reach for the pumpkin pie from e.l.f. than this. And that's more expensive. So this is the Ballad palette. I have really started to enjoy wearing cool toned eyeshadows, and I feel like the reason I love this is this like metallic right here. It's super pretty. Kind of this shimmery beige shade in here is also really pretty, but I never end up in this because it's like a sparkly charcoal, and that ends up everywhere. So I don't know, and maybe it's because this is like a matte with sparkle in it. If it was like an actual straight up shimmer, I don't know. I just have not loved these, and this is the only one that I've actually used on a regular basis. I did use the Ballad one for a while, but this is one where I feel like, you know what, maybe it's no. Sticking my fingers in here. It's pretty, but I don't think I need it. Oh, that's like 50 bucks in ColourPop eyeshadow that your girl doesn't need. And which reminds me is it's not my favorite formula. I know some people really love it. It just doesn't do it for me. I'm gonna let all 5 of those go. Oh. I'm gonna do a last minute change on my mind here. Even though I love this duochrome shade here, I don't know that I need to hold on to it just for that. So I'm gonna let it go. Oh, that's hard. I'm getting rid of 14 and I'm keeping 8. I feel like that's good. That's more than half. I realized there was a lot of dead weight in my eyeshadow collection, and I need to really think before I buy. Buying all 5 of the ColourPop eyeshadow palettes when they launched in January, that was just irresponsible on my part, but I was super curious. I wanted to try them, and I didn't love them, and now I'm super sad, and they just kind of sat there just staring at me every time I open my makeup drawer, and it makes me sad. I know that this is mostly high-end with the exception of these 2 e.l.f. guys here, but I feel like I'm keeping what performs well. I'm keeping what I know I reach for and really makes me happy. And the rest of this, although I did have a couple in here that made me super happy, I've had them for a long time and it's time to let them go. The rest of them are ones I just have not reached for. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. I'm gonna keep going with a declutter of my 6 and 8 pen palettes next. But I definitely wanna know, you know, do you like the smaller size palettes? I really love something that's like, you know, 3 to 6 shades, perfect, just enough, not too much. Once we start getting beyond that, I think once I get beyond like 9 or 10 shades, I can feel a little overwhelmed, but I've got a lot in those smaller sizes, and I'm gonna keep doing declutters for you. I would love to know if you, like me, prefer smaller palettes. I really love them. I think they're fantastic. And I am sad that some of these have to go, even like the really luxurious, expensive $88 palette. But I just don't want to keep stuff I'm not using just because it's pretty or it's expensive, or I only want to keep what I know inspires me, and I want to get rid of a ton because I have so much. Let me know if you have a favorite small palette. Let me know if you have a favorite kind of color story. Maybe you like cool shades. Maybe you like rosy tones. Maybe you are a warm neutrals kind of gal. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.